Hello everyone, my name's Reewyn and today we are here with StrikerCreations.
Hello.
And today we're going to be discussing the Vanishing of Holly Wheeler. So let's just get into it. Okay, so I think the first point that would be good to kind of touch up on is the fact that it's like a direct continuation of the previous episode. It's like we're going straight into it. Like, kind of sets up the vibes for the season as we are just, yeah.
Doesn't the episode like start out like immediately where it ended last time? It starts just directly with Holly in the room, and then the Demogorgon fucking pulls up and then just starts rocking stuff.
Yeah. Just completely grabs them. I feel like that it kind of sets up the theme for the rest of the season. Like, every episode really does feel like it's just a direct continuation, which is why I think Volume 2 is probably going to start in the same way, like straight on that.
Yeah, I think this season actually flows really well episode-wise.
100%. It feels very consistent, whereas other ones maybe can be a bit jolty. This one is very clear on that it's like one massive movie instead of like episodes.
Aren't some of the later episodes in Volume 2 going to be like an hour and a half long? Like, literally movie length?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much the last 4 episodes are all pretty much movie length. There is a lot of time to do a lot of things there, so we're going to see. I think it was something like 5 or 6 hours in total, probably more like 6 hours.
What, for just the final 4 episodes?
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Doesn't justify how long of a wait it's been, but still, it's pretty good.
No. There is a lot of space for stuff to happen, and I'll actually reassure my viewers as well, because I've seen this coming up in a lot of comments at the moment. There is time for gay to happen. Okay, there is 6 hours left. We have time.
There is 6 hours for the gay to happen. Technically, you've had the gay in season 5. You've got Nancy, I think it is. Is it Nancy? No, it's not.
Nancy. Who are you thinking of?
The other girl in the main cast.
Oh, Robin and Vicky.
Yeah.
Robin and Vicky.
I'd like to point out before we get into this, I wasn't like the massivest fan of Stranger Things. I kind of got coerced into watching it by my friends in the build-up to season 5. And I started liking it. I thought season 1 through 2 were okay. 3 was really good. Season 4 was good. I do prefer season 3 though. I think season 3 was like the peak of the show. And then season 5, getting into it, was really good. It had me at first because I really liked a lot of the montages in episode 1, and I think episode 2 and 3 are probably my favourites from the season so far, anyway.
Oh yeah.
I know I've seen a lot of people say episode 4 is the best one. I personally just really like 2 and 3.
That is very fair. I think for me, 4 is the best one because I just found it was the most like powerful. Also the most misunderstood. I will say a lot of people are misreading that episode, but probably my favorite, episode 1 being at the bottom, just because it's a lot of information dump. I've talked about it in my last episode of discussion, but it's a lot of information dump on you, and it's a bit like, I get it, but also I don't find this has the most rewatchability as opposed to the other episodes this season.
Yeah. Now, should we go for a little recap of what actually happens in the episode?
Yeah, I feel like if we go through like each segment and kind of discuss them before we do like an overall like thoughts of the episode, like, so yeah, obviously the episode starts with going straight into the Holly and Karen and Ted being attacked. I mean, they stood up for it, but I think Karen was obviously the best at the start. She was the strongest.
I was half expecting Ted to like actually do some damage, and I saw so many memes just scrolling on TikTok that Ted walk him down Wheeler is gonna show up and rock the fucking rock Vecna, and he gets like he gets a few good hits in, and he gets his shit just absolutely rocked. He gets flung through a wall.
He gets launched, dude.
However. Oh no, my camera. There we go. However, one thing I have to give him though, he was caught off guard. I've seen all the TikToks saying this. He didn't get his food in time. He didn't get to finish his game of golf. He wasn't at his prime.
Yeah, it's gonna be the real hero of
Ted
the
walking down Wheeler's gonna come back from that hospital and he's gonna rock Vecna later on. Watch.
Oh yeah, he's gonna solo him. I do find those memes like so funny that it's just like. He's going to get off of the sofa, the thermostat is touched, and he's going to go rock their shit, you know?
Yeah, no, he is. He's gonna it's gonna happen. There's still 6 more hours left. And you know what? 4 of those hours are gonna be the epilogue after Ted comes out of the hospital and fucking rocks Vecna. It's gonna happen. First episode, Shock Jock. That's about Ted.
Yeah, I mean, shock jock is it means someone on the radio who says stuff to be controversial to like get attention for it. Now I think that's Ted. He's gonna rage bait Vecna and then body him. I think that's what
he's gonna do. He's gonna do what I do commonly and rage bait the masses, and it's gonna work. And he's gonna just defeat Vecna with the power of rage. So I say the power of friendship, but Ted works alone. Yeah. Ted is God.
He's too powerful. Yeah. Then he's gonna end it with saying that was strange, but I've seen stranger things, and then it'll finish.
Yeah, that'll be the end. That'll be the. Oh, my camera keeps freezing. That'll be the ending shot of the season.
Yeah, just him turning to the camera and just it's gonna be beautiful.
Also, I wanted to point out one thing. I think the way that they're doing, like the opening the portals, with when the Demogorgon like rips through the walls and stuff, it looks so much cleaner this season. It looks just so much better. And also the Demogorgons, I feel like something about them, they look better.
They're stronger, I feel like, as well. They are significantly stronger than before.
I don't know about that one. They're like it's like 50% of the time they seem to be stronger, and then the rest of the time they seem to be weaker. Because Nancy was able to do quite a bit of damage when the Demogorgon was sat right there. I feel like that was like a bit unrealistic. Realistically, if Nancy's able to put up that much of a fight, Ted should also have been able to do a little bit more damage, I reckon.
Karen, by the way, not Nancy. Karen.
Karen,
yeah.
Karen.
Yeah, but that's because she was like... Thing is, they are pure muscle, so Ted whacking a golf club at it isn't going to do absolutely anything. Whereas Karen using like a broken ball, she was full on stabbing it to the point it was bleeding. So... Yeah.
See, Ted with prep time would have won.
100%. Would have downed his coffee and gone. Absolute legend.
Not his coffee. He would have downed... What's an American alcohol brand? I'm not an alcoholic, so I don't know this. Can the viewers at home give me an American alcohol brand? Just comment it down below.
So imagine it was something on the brand of Stella, because he's a neglectful dad. Being for real, he's very neglectful. So maybe it's like on brand of Stella, like the British beer. Yeah,
something on that level. Well, if he was in the UK, I reckon he would drink strawberry sours. He seems like the kind of freak of nature.
Oh Lord, yeah, I think it was strong though. I think. What is interesting, though, is it does really show us the pure might of the Demogorgon, because I feel like they're also smarter, and I think that's the kind of implication that, Vecna is much more in control here, because instead of, like, jumping down the stairs, whatever it went round through the door was before, it just, like with Will, for example, it just chased him down. So, to have this level of intelligence, it does show that we're up against a bigger threat this season, and it's not just Vecna.
I think specifically the first half of this episode, where they're dealing with where the Demogorgon is attacking Karen and Ted, I feel like it feels more like because Stranger Things was originally pitched as a horror show when it first came out, and it was like that in season 1. But over the past few seasons, it's kind of like it's not been as horror-y, if you get what I mean. It's been more of a fantasy show. Those like moments made it feel more like a horror, which I quite enjoyed.
Yeah, that's why season 1 is probably my favourite season. As much as I love the other ones, I do think that season 1 was the purest in terms of like classical horror. Like, this season is the only one that's brought back that sense of mystery, because all the other seasons there was a mystery, but it wasn't as genuinely like, what the heck, as where is Will? There were so many questions in season 1, and not all of them were answered. And I feel like across the seasons, like, especially just even the Meat Mind Flayer, I feel like we've never been fed just enough information, but not too much as we are in episode 1.
Was the
season 1
is the meat wall discovered in episode 2? Or is that something?
The Meat Mind Flayer?
No, the meat wall. Is that in?
In
episode 2?
That was the end of episode 2. Yeah, I've got some theories to bring up about that, I think, later. I think there's some...
I have some, like, pretty decent ideas, to be fair. Now, next part of the episode, I think, was when they go to... So, now, I really liked the fake-out. You know when, So, Karen is using her bottle to sort of fight off the Demogorgon, and then it cuts to the car pulling up, and obviously Eleven and Nancy walk in. And it's not Nancy, is it? Is it Nancy? Yeah, it's Nancy. She's the one
Yeah,
with the
that one is
shotgun.
Nancy.
Yeah.
You got to write this time.
Okay, she's the one with the shotgun. She rocks up, and then it cuts, and it's like it's like a very slow shot. It looks like time sort of slows down for her, and then we cut to the blood along the floor. And then I like the sort of fake out, because you think she's gonna come in there and they're gonna start like rocking the shit off this Demogorgon, and the Demogorgon's just gone, and so is Holly. And then there's a bit of mystery for a little bit. I don't know. When do we next see Holly? Is that towards the end of this episode?
I think it's literally at the end, because they're trying to like leave Mr. What's It until the last moment. So
yeah, I liked the mystery of Mr. What's It in this episode as well.
Yeah, I kind of suspected it, to be honest, because my microphone cut out. I kind of suspected it, but I do think the reveal was really, really cool. But it's just because the only reason that he would be telling them the monsters are coming would be if he's been like, oh, the monsters are coming. I am the monsters. Oh, the monsters are coming. You know, it was.
Do you? I know we're not at theory time yet, but do you agree with the theory that Mr. Whatsit is well, he's like separate. He is Henry, but he's separate from Vecna. If you get what I mean, like he's sort of trapped in there too.
So the place where that theory came from is the first Shadow stage play, and I've actually seen it in person, and I think it's really hard because Henry and Vecna do seem to be different entities, but it's the line is significantly more blurry now, where Henry ends and Vecna begins. So, like, he is doing most of this with, I think, I don't know. I do think there is some separation there. What do you think?
I personally think that they are, like, the same character, but then obviously we know the Mind Flayer can, like, mess with people's heads. I feel like whatever's left of Henry has been flayed, and it's just kind of trapped there. So what we see with Mr. Whatsit is that is Henry. That is the good part of him that's sort of locked away. And then Vecna is, like, his actual physical body.
See, I did consider that, because it doesn't look like they're trapped in his memories, which is where Holly and Max are. But at the same time, when he chases Max, his hand turns into Vecna and he starts chasing. So I don't think he's entirely good, because he was going to attack her. So I think it's...
I feel like he is good. However, Vecna has some semblance of control over him.
I mean, we know from the first Shadow that Henry was a good kid. He was a completely good kid. He had no evil intentions. It was when the Mind Flayer came and started twisting him. Like, I do think, I've said this, like, for months now, but the big villain is the Mind Flayer, not Vecna. Vecna is still an evil fucker, but he's not the big boy. He's not the big boy, the main player, you know?
I've just done an accurate representation of what the Mind Flayer did to Henry. You'll be able to see that in the edit.
Beautiful, I can't wait.
You'll be able to see it in its full glory. Now, the next plot point, I'm remembering this off the top of my head because I watched it back this morning. We go to the hospital next, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see obviously like general hospital shtick. I'm also looking through your difficult to read notes.
I'll put them on screen for reference so you guys can see kind of like
difficult to read
why
notes. The people at home will understand.
Yeah, I wrote these this morning in a rush because I slept in till like 1 and we're filming at 2:30 for reference, and I was like, oh god, I've got to get up, watch the episode, eat some lunch, get ready, and I'm sick, so it was not great.
It's midnight right now.
Yeah, it's actually midnight. Oh my gosh.
It's midnight right now. And you've got work tomorrow, and you need to wait, you need to lock in.
Oh, no. Look. Yeah, so you're right though, it was Karen. It was like them being rushed into the hospital.
Yeah.
I did like seeing a bit of like Nancy and Mike. I feel like we very rarely get content of the two of them, so it was nice to actually get some like sibling screen time.
Yeah, I kind of keep forgetting the siblings. Like
yeah.
I hadn't like rewatched the Stranger Things, so basically I watched 1 through 4 about like a month and a half ago, and I haven't rewatched them before season 5. So pretty much most of this was I'd forgotten most of the things. I just know things had happened at some point or another.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think this season is probably going to put quite a light on siblings because obviously we have Will and Elle are pretty much siblings now, and we have Callie and Elle are siblings, and we have Nancy and Mike, and then we also have Erica and Lucas. So I think there is going to be a bit more of a focus on siblings this season because it is also like there's a lot of themes of love in this, even though it's like majority everything is going wrong. There's a lot of love, and like a lot of the tension this season is coming from people caring about each other. It's
Yeah, I see what you mean with that one. I think we're definitely gonna get a lot more interactions between characters who haven't really interacted beforehand. Because it's the last season, so it's probably the last mileage they're gonna get out of any of these characters. So they're gonna give them as much interactions with one another as possible.
I really need to see Steve and Will interact. They have never interacted across any of the seasons. There is not a single scene where they have spoken to each other. So I do really want to see that one. No, there's not a single scene. The only time that Steve has ever even mentioned Will was when in season 5, episode 1, he was like, yeah, Will's goosies has stopped. So
That's actually really funny. I figured they must have interacted at some point. Have all their interactions just been off camera? Have they not?
They must have done, because the thing is, Will is the protagonist this season, which is the only reason he's been mentioned by Steve. So
yeah, it's kind of odd that they haven't interacted though. Like Will, one of the main people of Stranger Things, has not interacted with one of the most popular characters.
100%. Well, that popularity took a hit this season, but we'll talk about that later. But
what, Steve's popularity?
Oh yeah, he's.
I quite like him this season. I like his comebacks, but I have seen people say he's gone back to being a bit of a scumbag, which he used to be in earlier seasons.
I don't think he's being a scumbag. Well, but we'll get to that in a bit.
The complaint I've seen more is that they've sort of ruined his character development.
It does slightly piss me off that we've come back to Jonathan and Steve competing. However, after rewatching the season the second time, I don't necessarily think it's quite that, but we'll talk about that in a bit. I think there's definitely more to it.
Yeah. So what's the next plot point? Was it when we actually see Holly in the memories?
I don't think we see her until the end of the memories from memory. I think the next one we'd see is, I don't know why I wrote Joyce and Hopper, but I meant Joyce and Will, I think, is the next one, which is quite a big scene because thematically, this is the second time we've had Joyce babying Will, because in the first one, it's like, oh, you can't go in the van, even though you're the only one that knows how to fix it. And this time it's like, oh, you can't go and use your powers, even though it's the only way to find Holly. It's that kind of setup is building.
Yeah, I think that we're going to get the arc of obviously them being less protective. I get a really bad feeling that Joyce is going to die this season, or Will is going to die. It's going to be one of them. Either Joyce is going to learn to let Will be more free, and then Joyce is going to die afterwards for Will's character development, or Joyce is going to give Will more freedom. Will's going to take that freedom, run with it for a little while, and then it's going to end with him dead.
I think the way I think it's going to go down is I think Jonathan's probably going to die. I think Jonathan is dead. If not, Joyce is dead. One of them is dead. But something is going to push Will over the edge, because he was saying in the scene as well, I know how it feels, and he's getting really frustrated they're not doing anything. So I think if someone in his family gets hurt, he is just going to go to the upside down. I don't think that especially that he has, you've seen episode 4, right?
Yeah, where he just starts folding up Demogorgons.
Yeah. So now he's got powers, and he actually has the ability to do something, which is something he needed for 4 seasons. He was limited in what he can do. He is going to run with that, and I think he might get stopped. I think he might get stopped from going there, but I do think that he is just going to make an attempt to go. I think he's just going for it.
Yeah, I'm really liking the season so far, though. I don't know if it's as worth the wait, and to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of... Oh, my camera froze. And to be fair, I'm not the biggest fan of the Duffer Brothers. I've seen their statements about how they want just TV to generally take, years between seasons, and I'm like, why?
Yeah, that was a bit.
Why? I get having more cinematic TV shows, but there's no reason you should artificially wait like 3 years to create some hype. You have hype. You have a good show. Oh, my camera is actually doing me so dirty. It keeps freezing every 5 seconds.
Well, the thing is, for season 5, it was significantly delayed due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, I believe. So this is an anomaly, but it shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah, it's definitely an anomaly, but then also the creators, the Duffer Brothers, had like an interview and they said they agree with like having longer waits for TV shows.
Which I don't think should be a thing, because, for example, Lord of the Rings was released 1 year after another. Wicked was released 1 year, and then next year they had the next part.
To be fair, Wicked was made all together.
But I do think that we shouldn't. You're right, and that we shouldn't really be having. I think these waits are a bit too long. I understand having the time to produce things and to not rush anything, but I don't think, the sheer amount of thing is, 10 years for Stranger Things, it makes sense if it was one season every 2 years. But having it be like one season a year and then like 3 or 4 years for one is a lot.
Yeah, it's a big wait.
I don't know. I think, but I do really like this season. I love this season, and I do also think that when we get the Byler, that's going to be Born Volume 2, because this one feels like we're setting up a lot of stuff, whereas Volume 2 is a lot of stuff like.
I think you're going to be let down by Byler.
Don't think so.
I've seen some discussion. I think there was a conversation between Will and another character, and I think because Will's like, he's got all the answers now. I think he's going to find that he can do everything on his own, and he's going to choose to not he's going to choose to not continue to pursue Mike. He's going to move on.
I have something to say about this. I have something to disprove this. I've actually seen a lot of my commenters saying this as well. Okay, watch that scene in the middle of the episode, then rewatch that scene after watching episode 4, because it entirely recontextualizes it, completely. Because I thought that at first, and I was like, why? That's really strange of them to do. Until when you rewatch, Robin specifically says she completely attached herself to Tammy Thompson, and when she looked back in her tapes, she was alone as a child, but she was so carefree and happy. And I think the point of that was meant to be embracing yourself, because then later on in Will's tape, Mike is also there. He doesn't attach himself in the same toxic way that Robin has done, because Robin had a light crush and put all her value on Mike, but Will's value doesn't all rely on Mike. I think he wants to love Mike, but he doesn't need him, and that's the difference. The whole point is accepting yourself and not being afraid to love Mike. So if you do go for the opportunity, you do go for it, you love yourself first. I don't think the point was to compare Mike and Tammy Thompson, because there's a big difference between a crush you had for a week and someone you've loved for years. And I think that's why Mike's arc is about to continue in that, because for Mike in his relationship, he needs someone to need him, but really what he wants is to be seen. And that's what happened in Sorcerer, is Mike, Will took Mike's advice, and that's why we get that Batman shot of him looking at Will as time slows down, because as Robin says, time slows down and they look gorgeous, and then we see Mike's POV looking at Will with powers and it slows down. Yes.
Maybe we will get gay. However, I do get the feeling, I feel there's a lot of stuff going on. I have the fear that it's gonna. Have you seen The Umbrella Academy before?
I haven't, but I know that was a mess.
Yeah, one of my favourite shows, originally supposed to be 5 seasons, and then following, I think it was the SAG-AFTRA strikes, they cut it down to 4 seasons, and then also cut that 4th season in half. So then there was only 6 episodes for the final season, and they had so much going. Season 3 was such amazing setup, and then they just didn't fulfill it all. They didn't resolve every plot point. There was some stuff that was just never mentioned again. I get the feeling we're going to get that with Stranger Things, because it's the last season now. And I feel like we're going to have a few unresolved plot points by the end.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's potential that Byler could end up being one of them, or it could just be one of those things where it's implied to happen after the show, but we don't see it.
Yeah. See, I would believe that, except for one fact we know about the season. Noah and Finn, who played Mike and Will, filmed an entire month early for just their solo scenes, which means they've got a lot of scenes with just them, and we haven't seen a single one of them. There is not one scene where it is just those two, because the ones where it is just those two, there was other people on set with them. So the next season is going to be very heavily based on them, which is why I think there definitely could be mysteries left behind, but I don't think they're going to be one of them. Like, I think because Will is the protagonist, because obviously the painting is still unresolved as well. That is a big thing that I think is going to be a catalyst, is the fact that Will lied about the painting and Mike hasn't figured that out yet. So
Yeah.
I have faith for it. I have faith.
We got faith in the power of the gay.
I mean, the thing is, my entire TikTok is people conversing over, which gives me more hope as well, because the issue is the general audience didn't really see it before, whereas now they're all going back and rewatching and actually rooting for it, which to me is the biggest point, because to have them be canon, you had to have the general audience see it and understand it, so it's not out of the blue, and that is what has happened after Volume 1, so that's why I'm also quite optimistic that, you know.
Maybe we will get gay. The power of the gay is growing ever stronger with every episode of Stranger Things that releases.
Yeah. That's how Will is so strong. He's got the power of the gay.
He's got the power. He's got the power of gay pride, friendship.
Exactly.
What else does he have? He has psychic. Fuck, he's got all his bases covered. How's Vecna gonna win?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it seems like it's going to be his proximity to the hive mind that makes him powerful. But also, I mean, there was a shot in the trailer where it looks like Vecna's hand is like right up against Will's face. So I think Vecna is going to have to go into Will's mind or something. I think that's the only way that he can do this, because like he can't just square up to Will anymore. But Will is using his own power against him. They will be perfectly matched. So, you know.
I want to see Will fold Vecna like a fucking lawn chair. I want to see Vecna get like. I can't remember what it was. There's a villain in a game who gets turned into like paper and folded up and put into like a little box. It's the toy maker from Doctor Who. I want to see that. I want to see that happen to Vecna. I want to see him just get put in like a box and just swept under a bed somewhere. I reckon that'd be a great ending for him.
Yeah, 100%. Fold him away. Should we move on to the next point then? That was such a sidetrack, but that was a good sidetrack. I feel like a lot of those points needed to be like vocalized. Yeah. So we're going back to Joyce and Will. And then I think a big point as well is Robin immediately introduces this point of radio waves. She's the one that kind of begins to encourage the idea that, hey, these are like radio waves. You can maybe look at them back.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Specifically in that scene, Robin describes it as if Will has an antenna and he can pick up on the radio waves.
Oh, that scene. I know what you're on about.
Yeah. So it's starting to build into the idea of Will taking control back, because the other 4 seasons he felt like he was being just used, and that this season he goes through it. He gets hit by a car and set on fire by proxy. So to have him begin to take control back, I think, is a massive part of his character arc.
I think that is actually, yeah. I think the idea of Will finally taking some power back for himself and finally, growing a pair is gonna be a big one. It's gonna be like a big part of his character arc, and I think he's literally just gonna be Vecna, but the complete opposite in terms of where he sides.
I think, because I do think he's going to get possessed. I do think that Vecna has intentionally done this, because he wouldn't just walk in and walk out if he didn't want Will to unlock his powers. But I do also think that the difference, it shows in the first Shadow stage play as well. So Henry was also in love with someone, and she was scared of him, and she gave him strength, but in the end there was too much hatred around him that he fell, whereas Will is surrounded by love, and he has someone he loves romantically who can pull him out. So Henry and Will are like direct parallels with each other, so...
Yeah. I quite like the idea that they're going to be like just complete polar opposites. I'm not sure about the Vecna possessing Will thing. There's a lot of really like absolutely insane shit that we've seen in the trailers for part 2.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they're going to fit all of this into like 3 episodes. I know they're all movie length, but still.
Well,
I feel like there's a lot.
The way I view it the way I view it is as if you are watching 4 movies. If there is about 4 storylines, although Will's is a central one. So I still am quite optimistic they could resolve it in one, because I do think a lot of the mysteries we are on the edge, like especially the wall. Like obviously, again, we're going to come back to that later, but I do think a lot of the mysteries are more solved than we think. It's just about putting the lines together, and that's why Volume 1 felt a bit exposition-y. It's because it's making it a lot in Volume 1, so we can slow down a bit in Volume 2.
Meat wall. Meat wall.
Meat
I love
wall.
meat wall.
We love the meat wall. But yeah, and then we have Robin and Will running away, which is good because let Will have power. I understand Joyce is worried, and she has a reason to be worried because a lot of stuff happened to Will, but she's also got to learn to let him take advocacy for himself.
Yeah. I'm trying to read these fucking notes, man. I'm trying to read them. What does this say? Sassy Will frustration.
Yeah, this is the my own mind, by the way, of thoughts. This is how my brain works. But
are those like little minuscule dots of colon between Sassy Will and frustration?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that is when Will is getting his sass on. Okay, he is getting mad at his mum. Very, very fair. I'm so glad he gets more pissed off at people this season, because he deserved to crash out. Like this is seasons.
I mean, yeah, it's like we don't get very much representation of like controlling parents in media. So I think having him and then having like him standing up to that is pretty good, because we get we see controlling parents, but we don't see like a realistic one where the child like actually starts resenting the parent or like pushes back against it.
Yeah, I think that's sorry, yeah.
So, like it's not, we don't really get that representation like we should.
Yeah, and I do think that's the point of Ellen Hopper's story as well. Is it's also not to like. It's not controlling for no reason, but it's about learning to have trust in one another. Like, Hopper needs to trust Ellen needs to trust Hopper, but Will also has to have some trust in Joyce, but Joyce needs to give Will the freedom to make his own decisions. So I do think it's definitely building that up a lot.
I wouldn't trust Elle to make her own decisions, to be fair. I saw her in the episode where they sort of like jump over that big fence and she almost falls off the roof.
Oh yeah, and she mistimed her jump. That was.
Yeah.
I think that's the difficulty this season is both Joyce and Hopper though do have to learn that we can't not take risks. We are not in a position anymore where we can just keep things going slow. We have to just go for it, which sucks. But I do think that's what has to be done from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what is this next? Lack of concern for Dustin.
Yes.
This is the episode. Yeah, Dustin gets jumped before the crawl, doesn't he? But I can see why they have like a lack of concern for him, because obviously it's during the crawl. Hopper and 11 are now lost in the thing. Holly's missing. Both of the Wheeler parents are in hospital. So I can see why they don't have very much concern for Dustin at this moment in time. And to be fair, he did get himself jumped by doing that.
I think I think a lot of the relationships this season are really complex, because on the one hand, Steve is obviously going to be concerned for Dustin, and Dustin is grieving, which is why he's lashing out like this. But at the same time, he does need it knocked into him, not by physical violence, that was wrong, but he did need Steve to yell at him and be like, hey, dude, like, I get it, but at the end of the day, what would be doing real justice to Eddie's memory is to, stop Vecna and stop anyone else getting hurt, because that's what Eddie's mission was to stop everyone else getting hurt. Like, by just beefing with people and getting yourself beat up and not being able to do anything, like, obviously fight back against them, but not to the point you're going to get yourself jumped. That's you can't fight 2 missions at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's like Dustin, like, his character just feels really off, and I do get it's like the grieving thing, but still he just feels off. It's just something's like wrong about him.
The thing is, he always has had this bit of sassiness. It just doesn't always come out. Like, it's usually like in a playful way. So I do think this is like, it has been a year and a half between seasons. So this is obviously some kind of decline that Dustin has gone down. And I do want to see Steve and Dustin resolve this, because a lot of this is coming again. The theme of the season is love. Steve is being so harsh to Dustin because he really cares about Dustin and knows he's getting himself hurt and they need to focus. Whereas Dustin is about his love for Eddie and how much, Eddie died in his arms. so he needs to feel like he's doing something to make a difference there. That's why this whole season is so difficult, because everyone, like a majority of the issues, except from actually Vecna, is people loving each other too much and not struggling to find the balance of where you sit with that.
Yeah. Now, what does this next point say? Oh my god, stop the love triangle.
Oh, actually, yeah, we do need to discuss the Jonathan and Steve. So
yeah, I thought we were like kind of past this. I like the idea that even if they're past like competing for. Oh, hold on, my camera froze again. I like the idea that even if they're past competing for Nancy, surely they should like, and like now they're just being playful and competing with each other. It's like, I think it was called out pretty well by Jonathan later on.
Yeah.
And then like I liked Steve's response of how like calling out John, because if we're being real, I think I think Nancy had more fucking chemistry with that sack of potatoes earlier in the season than she has with Jonathan this entire season. I think they've had about 5 interactions, and about 2 of them I can dub as romantic.
Yeah. And I think as well, that was a really interesting point that was made online, and that really made me reconsider things, because at first I was like, yeah, they're competing. But then someone pointed out, we're probably seeing things from Jonathan's perspective, and it might not actually be that Steve is doing it. Because in the first place, Steve was like, oh, I'll go fix it. And Jonathan was like, oh, I can fix it. And then later on, in this scene, Steve said, we can go get her flowers. Let's us go visit her. And Steve's like, oh, why are you competing? Like, I do think that Jonathan has internalized something here that, you know, as you said, Steve might even be part playful. I don't necessarily think he's entirely competing for Nancy anymore. But because we're seeing it from Jonathan's perspective, it's a bit biased. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it is quite biased. I don't actually think Steve's properly competing for Nancy. I think he's probably moved on by this point. But like, yeah. I think Jonathan's kind of spiraling and still sees it. But that's like kind of like if your girlfriend who you're wanting to propose to's ex is like there consistently, like come on now, like obviously you shouldn't. But like a lot of people, like most people would be a little bit self-conscious. And would be like a little bit overthinking it.
Yeah, 100%. Especially because in season 4 they did reintroduce the love triangle, which annoys me, because I do think the love triangle does do a slight character assassination, because Steve's arc was so good in season 3 just to be dragged down in season 4. And Jonathan's arc, I found Jonathan being high quite funny. I thought their storyline was kind of realistic, like how they were coping with things. But Nancy at least does have some more room to breathe, because I do feel like in season 4 she lost a lot of her character to the love triangle again. So I'm glad to see that she doesn't seem too bogged down by that this season. Like, she is done with them. So
to be fair, I'd be done with them too. I would have thrown a rock at them on the ladder and just knocked them down.
Yeah.
I think one of my favourite shots from the episode was when they're like competing and climbing up the ladder. I just like how it's shot. It just flows really well, and it's a pretty fun scene.
It was so funny as well. Like, as much as I hate the love triangle, I was like, it felt quite boyish, which is something that they missed out on a lot, because of a lot of the stuff that happened. They missed out on being teenagers. So I do kind of like that competition, and I do think that's why I would quite like it if it has been Jonathan misinterpreting it the whole time, and it was actually Steve just being playful with him, kind of deal. Like, oh no, I'm stronger. Like, not competing for Nancy, just competing because they're both dudes, you know?
Was it this episode or episode 1 where Will has his talk with Nancy and gives... Not Nancy. Where Will has his talk with Holly and gives her the little D&D figurine?
Oh no, that was Mike and Holly last episode. That was in the first episode before Holly gets nabbed.
Yeah, I think that's like foreshadowing, because we've got a lot of stuff with time travel recently in the past in this season. I will be really upset if the ending and stuff correlates with time travel. None of it happened. It's all undone. Everyone's fine.
Yeah, that's I can't say why I know, but they're not gonna pull something like this. It's not. We're saying
I also know that they're not going to pull something like this, but that's besides the point. It would be really disappointing, and they are setting up something with time travel.
100%.
Or wormholes, because giving Holly a little figure that literally has the ability to open gateways, and then continuously mentioning like time rifts, gateways, a ripple in time. And then obviously the thing with the teacher where it's like showing off like the potential for time travel as well.
Yeah.
I think it's all like, I feel like there's definitely potential that we go back in time somewhat or some way, but I don't think it's going to be like the crux of the ending.
Yeah. I do think there's something to do with the meat wall that I think we'll bring up later as well. I think there's a wider discussion, but if we move on and then we get to the meat wall, I think that's the best place to do it. I don't think there's much to say about the Lucas and Max scene in hospital. I think it was just foreshadowing that A, the music works, and B, that Holly and Max are together, because Elle can't find Holly, and she was like, oh, it's like with Henry, I can't find Henry, whereas as the audience we went to think, hey, but isn't Max like that? And then we immediately see Max the next scene. I think that was just it's good foreshadowing. That's all I have to say about that. That was good foreshadowing.
It's pretty good foreshadowing. And then also the Mr. Watson mystery, I think was set up really well. What do you think his big plan is?
Wait till the meat wall, because it all ties in. It all really heavily ties in. I don't have the full answer yet, but I have some really big suspicions as to what's going on here.
I'm currently looking through a bunch of these beautiful notes here. I think we've covered most of the things you had on the notes.
So we've talked about Robin and Will having faith. Oh, I do like that it is also the conversation between Robin and Will. It is starting to set up a bit with like Will accepting himself being gay. Is the whole, oh, I wasn't at the hospital. That's crazy. Do you think I was at the hospital? Because he's still in complete denial and he's not accepting himself at all here. So that is a point.
Robin's
also,
waking him up.
Robin's
waking him up. He's becoming woke.
The awakening. I do kind of think it's similar to how like Steve adopted Dustin. We have Robin adopting Will. Although I have seen some theories that Mike could get a little bit jealous because Robin and Will are very close to season, especially when they're like laughing. I do think that is potentially, I thought it would be quite fun. But obviously, Robin is lesbian, so you know. Yeah, themes of trust. This whole episode was heavily themed around trust. And then obviously in the woods, that was really cool. Will figuring out that he has powers in the woods. Not that he has powers, but Will starting to make that connection. Like, he was seeing these things, but it's almost like he was bringing that vision back. And it's a very, very subtle hint. Not massively, but a very subtle hint that he's going to take control this season.
I'm quite liking Will's character, though. Like, he's a step up, because he's kind of been in the background since season 2.
100%. I mean, Will's my favourite character, so, like, before this, so it makes me really happy to see him getting the screen time. Oh, and, like, people online being like, oh, we love Will now. Although I do think I am kind of annoyed that some people were quite toxic towards Will, like, really hating on him.
I have a question. What are the characters' ages? What is the age of like Will and the others by this point? Because
16.
Okay. I was gonna say, they don't look 16. They look older than me, and I get told I look like I'm in my 20s. I had someone on a stream a few months ago think I was like, they said I'm gonna guess your age. I said go on, and they went 23, and I was so offended.
I'm not even 23. What?
Apparently, I just look really old.
I can't laugh. My lungs.
Yeah, you're old. The lungs are failing now.
The lungs are failing. Yeah. Yeah. So we do get onto the wall of flesh. This is
the wall of flesh, like from Terraria.
Okay, so you said you had an idea later. If you do yours first, because I've got like quite a big scale idea at the moment, but you want to go first?
I think the wall of flesh is literally just the barriers of the Upside Down. I think there's just nothing. I get the feeling there's definitely something past it, and I think it's like. So what we've got in the Upside Down, I feel like we're in the bit that's controlled by Vecna and the Mind Flayer. I think outside of the walls is like a completely different part of the Upside Down.
Yeah, if the theory
Like-
is true, I don't think it's that. I'll explain why in a second. But I do think that the theory that Will controls the Upside Down would make sense if this was like what he's formed. Like, if
as in the
Yeah.
bit inside of the walls is what Will has created, and the outside is what Vecna
if he was
has.
looking for somewhere safe in that moment, he needed somewhere safe to hide when he got thrown through. It would make sense why the Upside Down formed, and that's why Vecna is so interested in him because, you know, yeah, I don't know. There's potential.
Just
Yeah.
gotta let him cook.
Do you have anything to expand on that, or before I drop something?
So yeah, I feel like we're gonna get outside of the walls later this season. That's where we're gonna see the spirals where all the kids are being kept, or where they're taking the kids. I'm not entirely certain what they're using the kids for, other than as like to make more Demogorgons, to make more upside down creatures. I think that's like the main thing.
Are you ready for a theory bomb?
But that's
ready?
just a theory. Yeah, go on.
Game theory.
Go on.
Oh god.
I'm ready.
Do you remember how many kids in total were taken?
Is it 5 now?
12.
12 total.
Now, do you remember what shape the Upside Down is in, as Dustin points out?
Circle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's something that was thematically very strong in season 4? What's the thing that all of Vecna's victims always saw?
Is it circle and spiral?
No, they always saw a clock. There are 12 hours on the
right,
clock,
the
and
clock
he's taken
face.
12 children. It's in the shape of a circle. And why would time be special in the Upside Down? Because the Upside Down is frozen on the day Will was taken.
Mm-hmm. Where are we going? Where's the next part of this theory? Where are we going next?
So I think it's something to do with unfreezing the Upside Down, and I'm drawing a blank past this mostly, but I think there is a link between all of this because it's been specifically stated last season the Upside Down is frozen in time, so Vecna might want to start the clock turning again. Like, it feels really strange that it's specifically 12 children in a circle shape, and when Dustin drew it, he drew 2 lines to figure it out, and those 2 lines look like a clock, like clock handles. So whatever Vecna's doing, it is some timey-wimey stuff, and I think it's to do with unfreezing the Upside Down.
Yeah, I see what you did there, referencing Doctor Who. That's like that's almost a me reference in a few months.
But yeah, I don't know what is to do there, but that's why I said earlier, I don't think Volume 2 has to go as fast, because we actually do have all the puzzle pieces as to likely what's going on in the Upside Down. And I almost wonder if Will is the thing that he needs to charge this clock, because Will has his powers now. Because the children are just... I don't know what the children are for. Probably just to like make the clock work.
Vecna's started a political movement to get time working again.
In his favour. Well, because something special as well, they point out that all of the children are between 9 and 10 years old. And something really weird as well. Joyce says the wrong year. The wrong age that Will was taken. She says he was 11, but he's 12. And a fun fact about season 4, you might not know because you've only watched it once. The day that Mike comes to California and, Elle gets bullied, it shows on the camera, that's Will's birthday, and nobody remembered it was Will's birthday. So...
I have seen this about how Will is slowly getting, erased from people's memories.
Yeah. It's something very weird is going on, and I do think that Will is about to be some kind of battery to get this clock going. I don't know whether Vecna wants to go into the past, or he wants to go into the future, or he just wants to unfreeze the Upside Down because he needs it somehow, but it might even be that Will unintentionally formed the clock. I think there is something here, and that's why I think that Volume 2, we have all the puzzle pieces now. Volume 1 was so packed so that in Volume 2 we can just have the oh my god moments. And
oh my god!
Oh my god! It was a clock! So, yeah, that's what I think the meat wall is. I do think the children are outside of it, but I think they're in the positions of being the clock hands.
I think the meat wall is actually just the final... It's just the final boss of the normal mode of Terraria, and then we're gonna get, after they beat it, we're gonna get things like the Hollow's gonna spawn in Hawkins. We're gonna get like unicorns running around the gap. We're gonna get some pixies in there.
Wow.
We're gonna get all kinds of things. We're gonna get hollowed metals, you know, like orichalcum and the other ones.
Yeah. I do think overall both the Upside Down and Will are going to be very, very important in this final stretch, because not only does Will have control of the hive mind, and I think he's possessed, if I'm honest, he also is very heavily linked with the Upside Down. So I think there's something special here, and I think we haven't seen it yet, but yeah, I'm excited to see, because they really have set it up to be something very cool.
Oh yeah, doesn't Vecna literally say, "Will, you are going to help me again," or something like that?
One last time, yeah. Which is why I also, yeah.
I feel like they're very on the nose with foreshadowing that he's going to do something with Will.
Yeah.
He's going to stick one of his tendrils in Will's mouth again.
Oh god. Oh, that scene was fucking disgusting. Like, okay, I will say,
have we seen the other kids outside of the thing yet? Outside of the weird dream world? Because we know there's... No. We already know. Wasn't there 2 other kids that were missing before Derek was going to get taken?
Yes, so there was 4 that were locked in, including Holly, and then I counted, there was exactly 8 children that Vecna grabbed. So he does have the full 12 now. He's
got all the Infinity Stones. He's going to snap his finger and make time work again.
Yeah.
Snap his finger and the clock's going to start turning.
I do want to mention something, because I just want to bring up the video. I have seen a lot of people saying that Vecna is a nonce, and there is definitely allegories of sexual assault and stuff, but it's more like the Aliens series. I don't think saying Vecna is a nonce is the right thing to say here. He's not doing it to...
I don't know, man. So I agree. I don't think he's like nonce territory, because there's territory for that, and he's not crossed that yet. Yeah. But for Vecna, that he's like, there's definitely a lot of like reference to like SA representation, especially with like the way he puts the thing directly into Will's mouth, and that's like caressing his cheek, and I assume he's probably done that to the other kids as well, and the fact he's just targeting kids. I feel like there's something special about the kids, because I reckon that there's a lot of, when you speak to people who like investigate ghosts and things, like ghosts, you get a lot of like mention of how children have more imagination and wonder for these kinds of things. Yeah. So I think that's why Vecna is specifically targeting children. As to the whole, sticking his tendril in their mouth, that it's pretty creepy. It's pretty on the nose as like, definitely is teetering on SA representation. It's definitely teetering on that, especially with the way he's like, he's just like, specifically the scene of Will. We can see he's uncomfortable, obviously sticks the thing in their mouth, and then he starts like caressing Will. Like, it's very on the nose SA representation, but I don't think Vecna's a nonce.
I think it's the same brand as the Alien series. The Alien weren't necessarily...
They were just impregnating people left, right, and centre.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's really important, as well. People were saying that Vecna groomed Will. He absolutely did, but it's good representation, but, like, don't specifically say Vecna is a nonce.
If anything, Vecna is a groomer.
He definitely groomed Will to have powers and stuff. Yeah, I don't think saying Vecna is a nonce, I don't think is the correct interpretation.
The politically correct response is saying he's a groomer and we need to get rid of him.
Yes, that's what I think. I think he's a groomer. I don't think he's sexually into the children, but what he is doing is pretty much sexual assault. Yes. Yeah,
it is like very. It's like not very. You don't have to look much past the surface level to understand that it is SA representation.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why the first 5 minutes were so horrific to watch, because it's that's what it is. Especially in season 2, when Will got possessed by the Mind Flayer, he was saying like, I felt it everywhere, kind of thing. That was like, ugh, yeah. Deep talks. But I think
deep
it's something I
talks.
did want to say because I've seen a lot of discussions going around. I did kind of want to give, like, at least my perspective on that. Yeah.
Now, what is your next thing?
Next thing. That's it's just the Mr. What's-It's reveal, I think. It was just the Mr. What's-It being shown.
Oh,
I think that was cool as hell.
I
That
can't
was
even-
cool as hell.
I can't even read that one. I'm seeing
He
here,
says
protagonist
Creel
will,
House.
wall
Oh!
reveal, clock theory, awesome reveal, I knew it, and then...
Well, yeah. So, obviously we talked about will control. So, that's another theory. They're trapped in Vecna's memories because that cave that he's afraid of is the one where he initially got grabbed by the Mind Flayer. If the first shadow stays ringing true, that's it.
Isn't the first Shadows play canon?
Yes. So I think that's what that cave is because, yeah. And the house, I think, is, again, in Vecna's memories. We have Max literally going through his memories. I think that's what's already being set up here, like by showing the house. They're trapped in Henry's memories, not the other way around.
Yeah. Do you reckon that is the Creel house, or do you reckon that's just a house?
No, because, yeah, no, I do think that is the Creel house. I think that is Henry's projection of when that house was happy once upon a time and they were enjoying their lives. So...
Also, one thing I want to point out, I don't think it's in this episode, I think it's when Max shows up, when she's holding the thing for, like, the play. Hopper's name, Joyce's name, and Henry's name are all there in that, like, play thing.
That was another First Shadow reference. So, contextually, Henry went to school for a few days, and at one point he was in the play. I don't know if Hopper was, and Joyce was directing it. So, I think it's very clear we are about to go into Henry's memories, and we're going to learn a bit more how the Mind Flayer versus Henry versus Vecna works, because I think it's more, it's going to be quite complex, I think, because, you know, being scared of that cave is definitely something very Henry. If he's so devoted to the Mind Flayer, then he shouldn't be afraid of the cave where he first met him. Something's off.
Yeah, I do agree with that, actually. I feel like he shouldn't be as scared as he is.
Yeah. I don't quite think it's a case of, like, he's entirely innocent at this point, but I do think there may be part of him that's still fighting back. I'm very interested to see how they go about this, is what I'm going to say. I'm very interested to what way they're going to break this down into.
Yeah. I don't really know what to say on that one. I am quite interested to see how it all plays out. Because we've got, like, 4 feature-length movie episodes coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested. I am annoyed that they're releasing on Christmas Day, though, so I will in fact be waiting until Boxing Day to watch the new episodes.
It doesn't come out until Boxing Day for us, because in the UK it's 1 a.m. on Boxing Day.
Oh.
Yeah, it
Oh,
does.
okay. I'll be watching them the day they come out, then.
Yeah. It does just really wind me up. I think you're right. It winds me up that we have a release on Thanksgiving, and then, which, you know, at least only Americans celebrate it mostly. But then, also, we then go on to
There was
Christmas
probably
Day, and
better
then
ways. There was probably better way. I understand releasing an episode on New Year's Day, like midday. People would probably watch that. And then, like, for the thing, why would you release it on Christmas? Surely that's going to hurt viewing numbers. Or, like, initial viewing numbers. It'll reach the same as the rest of the season, but still. Initially, that'll hurt the viewers.
Yeah. I don't even think we should be splitting shows up like this anymore, or at least not over the span of, like, a month. It feels really, like, I know it's good promotion,
I think if it's a longer season, if it's, like, a 12, 15 episode season, split it into 2 parts. Go ahead. Release one part this month, the next part the next month. It's 8 episodes. You shouldn't realistically be splitting them. And I know why they're splitting them. It's to get more people to stay on the thing. In that case, Netflix, do what every other social, like, streaming thing does. Do it weekly episodes. Don't just release the entire season in one day.
Although, I will say, as most of my audience is Byler, I will add this. I do think the best thing about this, though, is I have seen a lot of people starting to ship Violet. People who were like 100% my level, even to the point of being toxic, have transitioned in this month's time. And I do think if it's going to be canon next volume, which I think it honestly is, it is important to give that time for the people to transition, to acknowledge it. But I do think we probably could have done that in like 2 weeks, let alone a month. But
It's going to be a Christmas miracle.
Wow.
Because like with shows like Has-Been Hotel recently, they were doing like 2 episodes a week for 8 episodes. I think that's fine. Like, yeah,
I like
do that. Yeah. And then I think Has-Been, realistically, they could have done 1 episode a week, and like they could have stretched it out and got a lot more viewers from it, like a lot more subscriptions.
And they still then, because the finale's on New Year's, they actually still could have done that. They could have had they could have had episode 7 still drop then, and then episode 8 still drop on
because that's the problem with specifically Netflix, in my opinion. You don't have that hype over a long period of time. Like, I think with a lot of shows, the hype like dies down immediately after all the episodes have been released. So Netflix like just haphazardly dropping the entire series at once, kind of like, yeah, it gives us a lot of just upfront hype, but then it stagnates a lot quicker.
Yeah. So I do think the more I think about it, the more I understand why they made the decision, because they need time for people to process things. I just think, I don't know, I'm a little salty that it's an entire month. That just feels a bit too much. A whole month.
Yeah.
Yes, like maybe 2 weeks. I do think after watching the first volume, it is a good idea to space it out. And if volume 2 ends in a similar way, I do think there needs to be time for people to process it. But then it also takes the mickey a bit, having, literally 1 week later having episode 8. It's like it's a weird schedule. I don't quite.
Wait, yeah, I saw that earlier. Why is episode 8 spaced out from the rest?
It's 2 hours long.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be similar to like a cliffhanger, because the big thing this season is, hey, Will has powers. Suck on that. Enjoy Will now. Goodbye. So the next volume must end in some way that needs the fans processing. And I think that's, Max escaping, because Escape from Camazotz is the next volume. And I think that is Byler. I think because there is going to be quite a big backlash, they need time to kind of manage that. And then I think it's going to be maybe Ted or Karen waking up, or the Vecna's plan is working, or Will gets actually grabbed by Vecna this time, because we do see in the trailer at some point he is grabbed. But yeah, we'll see.
That's gonna lock in. I got hope for him. Come back. They let me down. He let me down this episode, but you know what? He's gonna come back. I've got belief in him. I got trust. I got hope.
Okay. Optimism.
Let's make Ted great again.
Yeah. Ted, the mad lad. He's gonna
lock in.
Trust. That is locking in.
He's gonna do it. He's gonna lock in, and he's gonna fold Vecna like a lawn chair.
Yeah, there was actually it's gonna be like Will's powers, but even stronger. It's gonna be crazy, guys. It's gonna be crazy.
No, he's not gonna do. You forget that fucking gay magic nonsense, that woke nonsense. You know what Ted's gonna do? He's gonna show up with his bare hands. And he's gonna just fold Vecna. Vecna's not gonna do anything to him. Ted's immune to his magic.
Yeah.
Ted's immune to his dodgy tentacles.
God, I can't laugh. No.
Guys, I've killed your favourite YouTuber. What do you feel? You're gonna have to watch me now.
He's killed me, guys. He's killed me. Okay, on that note, now I'm dead. Would you like to share where we can find you then? Because they can't watch me anymore because I died.
Well, now that Reewyn's died, so Reewyn did introduce me earlier, but I'm StrikerCreations on YouTube. I'm sure Reewyn will have linked me in the description very, very nicely. I do mostly horror-centric content, a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's. So just like Reewyn used to do. So if you love FNAF, you'll love the channel. But more importantly, there's this beautiful item that I have in my hand. This is my book Portals. You can find it over on Amazon. You can't. The lighting is doing it atrociously. You can find it on Amazon, and it's a science fiction fantasy novel about my main character Striker, not a self-insert, as I've had to argue about 45,000 times. trying to find his way home across the multiverse. So you see we've got the beautiful, beautiful cover art here. You see, done by my good friend Lucas, who's doing the cover art for the second book as well. But yeah, if you want to, I'm sure Reewyn will probably link that down in the description below as well.
Yeah.
Probably. The only thing that's missing from this book is, in fact, the page numbers. For whatever reason, when I sent it off to Amazon to be published, they cut the page numbers off of the pages. So, you don't have page numbers. You do have you have chapter numbers and chapter titles, though. It's very, very peak. And you know what? If you buy a book and then you somehow, some way find me on the streets, I'll sign it for you.
Yeah.
Just like I'm gonna do for Reewyn if she buys the book, and then I find Reewyn on the streets somewhere. But yeah,
just spawn in. That's what I do. I just spawn in. I'm just that cool.
You can also find Reewyn on YouTube. You know.
Yeah.
You know, I don't, and you can also find her on TikTok too. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I arguably, now that Portals has been done, my next project is the Doctor Who show, which I mentioned earlier.
Oh yeah.
Which the Christmas special obviously comes out on Christmas Day. I don't have very much news to give on that one though, other than the fact that I released a trailer during one of my streams a few weeks ago, and that was it.
I can link that too.
Yeah. I'll post the trailer somewhere. I'll get Huffle to post the trailer.
Yeah. Right. So, that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, all the links for Striker's stuff is in the description. Thank you. Catch you later. Do you want to say bye, Striker?
Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, my skibbity sigmas. I'm saying that in honor of Doge. Goodbye.
God damn it. Bye. And remember, the lion does not concern itself with violence out. Ah!
I do.
Ah.